Welcome to Riviera Rats. I am Bill.
And I'm Greg.
And we have another bonus episode today because, of course, the 78th Cannes Film Festival, is that right? Has finally wrapped up. And we could not be more excited or honored, truly, because we don't have guests on this show. So I hope he feels very special that we're making an exception for a very special person who has been there. He knows more than we do. He's going to tell us everything we get wrong on our show. And he's going to tell us about his experience having just attended his... Is it like your 8th festival that you've been to?
I've been going since 2013.
Oh, wow. My goodness.
Yeah.
12th.
Yeah.
Not counting COVID year, so I guess 11th. Well, he did go anyway, but he just didn't see anything. Anyway, the point is, today we have Nicholas Bell of Ion Cinema. Nick, thank you so much for being here.
It is my pleasure. I'm thrilled anytime you ask me to do anything. So,
yes, I'm sure some of our listeners who are BGM listeners have very much enjoyed your episodes on that show, and I'll have you on that again, actually, because you gave me a movie that you want to do with Joseph, so I've got that lined up. But first, you've basically just gotten off a plane. You've done us the pleasure of joining us today. And you will also be talking about the festival on your podcast, Fish Jelly, which is also your YouTube channel, which it turns out my best friend Dave watches religiously, and we never talked about it before. He just randomly was also a fan. And I was like, I've had those guys on my show anyway.
Oh, that's sweet.
To start us off, Nick, tell us what we don't know about the Cannes Film Festival, like the things you love about going and the things you hate about going.
Things I love about the cinema, the things I hate about going, almost everything else at Cannes, because it's a beast to get through. It feels like work, unlike Berlin, in my opinion. You know, Cannes also tiers. There's a hierarchy of the press.
Yeah.
So that complicates things. And now since the pandemic, they've started a ticketing system, so you have to get a ticket even to they do this in Toronto now too, every film festival, but that, you know, is a blessing and a curse a little bit too. But I am appreciative every time that I'm there, but I also, by day 4 or 5, when you see 4 or 5 movies a day, it gets exhausting. But
yeah, it's a marathon.
Yeah. And I can't say no. Like I don't know why I put myself through it sometimes. Like, do I need to see 5 movies in one day? But
because it's a great way to see them, and you know, you can tell yourself, yeah, it'll come out later and I'll catch it later, but you don't. You know, like it comes out later in one theater across the other side of town, and you don't bother to go, and then you're scrolling through it on your streaming service, and it's old news at that point. Right. It's exciting to see it in the moment.
Oh yeah, before your opinion is clouded already by well, you know, that's what's changed also about Cannes since I've been going is I think in 2019 we used to be able to, the press could go see the competition films that start in the morning at 8:30 in the Lumiere, and I think that there were too many red carpet events, premieres where the directors felt like there was a cloud hanging over them. I think it was Sean Penn maybe, or Nicholas Winding Refn. So they changed it. So now the press has to see it about the same time as the premiere is happening. So it's totally changed the dynamic as well, which means that I'm seeing comp films at like 10 o'clock at night. And you know that a lot of these films are long.
Yeah.
So there's no movies in the morning, or is it the next day?
They do have films in the morning, but it's usually from
the night before.
Yeah. No, in certain regard.
Okay.
Yeah. Or out of competition, special screenings.
I have a question about this, how do we say it? The sacrifice you make for the love of cinema, going to 5 movies a day. When you get to that 5th one, does it happen to you where you're watching something and you know it's great, but you also know you're going to have to rewatch it to really get the genuine experience you deserved?
Yes. This year, I only had one actual 5 film day, but was it 2023 Zone of Interest? I actually went back and rewatched it again while I was at the festival because I was so exhausted. Yeah. And I'm glad I did.
Well,
but yes.
It was like the one movie, I remember it was the one movie you wanted to see that year. Too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that does happen. And I will often say, like with Wes Anderson, in that environment, think like maybe I'm just really cranky. That's why I feel so cruel towards it. So I'll rewatch stuff. But
no, not if you're talking about Asteroid City. And actually, so far, Cannes has not gotten his best stuff anyway. And he's never won an award, right? He didn't win anything this. I don't think he's ever won in the main competition awards.
I don't think so. I mean, Moonrise Kingdom opened
Yeah.
that year, and I think it was part of the comp. But yeah, no,
was,
they never give him an award really.
I recall Grand Budapest did well, but that was at Berlin.
And Isle of Dogs was Berlin, and then I think he won director there maybe or something. But yeah.
So what Nick's process actually is, Greg, is that if he does love it and he's too tired to appreciate it, he then shows it to his husband, who then forgets that he ever watched it. But Nick still believes. He's still like, this one will stay in his memory. But their podcast is mostly Nick reminding him of the movies that he watched and liked.
Yes, but I mean, it keeps me on my toes as well.
I know it's delightfully entertaining for all of us.
You're so dutiful.
You go to Cannes, you go to Berlin, you go to Venice. I remember you telling me that Venice is a bit of a pain because you basically have to arrange boat travel every day. You don't stay like right there. Yeah.
On the Lido, no, because it's
Right.
really, I like to stay alone. I feel like I'm too old to share space. And so it's very expensive on the Lido. So I'll stay, it's not the mainland, but I have
Sure.
to take a Vaporetto back and forth every day.
So what's Cannes like? Are you like minutes away from where you have to be, or is it like a cab ride across town to get to? I mean, it's not a very big place, but
It's not, oh God, traffic. That's like a certain layer of hell, I think, driving in Cannes during the festival. But I stay in the vicinity. It's usually like a 10-15 minute walk from the Palais
okay, that's nice.
is doable.
And the weather's nice in May, right? In the south of France, it's like a cool summer usually.
It is. There's inevitably a day where it rains, which happens, and then
Right.
people aren't aware of space, and people with umbrellas outside in lines is a nightmare as well. But right after the 2021, because they had shoved it back to July,
Yeah.
that
Hell.
was
Yeah.
hell. That
Yeah,
was not
I can't
comfortable.
imagine. I would have just not. Because I go to Greece in July, and like I've gotten sick of that, so it would probably be the same thing. And do you have places that is it great eats? Do you have places you love to eat, or do you not have time?
I usually have time for one meal a day, and if there's a chance to sit down at a restaurant, yeah, like I've gone there long enough to. There's a couple pizza places I like. The one that Tarantino made famous.
The one that Roger Ebert loved. I remember Roger Ebert used to talk about his favorite pizza place.
Yes, I always make at least get one pizza there, but it's then you eat all that food and then fall asleep in the theater. So
Right.
there's a place I like called Bobo Bistro where I got to have one nice lunch with a director who I really like. So that was
That's nice.
a nice respite. But yeah.
I have a question about the romance of going to Cannes. What is La Croisette really like in 2024, 2025? I mean, do you know it's 2025?
It is, yeah.
Maybe you don't, but yes.
It doesn't feel well. Things have drastically changed over the past few months, but the romance I think is more in my head now. But once you're in the mix of it and you're just kind of being shuffled around everywhere like sheep, that some of that gloss does wear off for sure. But then what like when we see films anywhere, when you're kind of transported and fall in love, it's like, oh, this is worth it. But if you're having that experience and you see like 4 or 5 so-so films, which we'll get to in this year's competition, but then it's again, you start questioning sometimes, why am I doing this to myself? But
Well, what
again,
about the first year you went? You went in 2013. You knew everything you knew about Cannes without having gone, and then you went for the first time. Did it live up to the romantic fantasy the first time?
it did.
Or was
Yeah,
it immediately? Yeah.
that was a good lineup because I remember Blue is the Warmest Color. I remember really loving it. Was it's new, so everything feels exciting. And that was my first year, so I had a low badge. I had a yellow, and I would not go back again if I had that
Right.
kind of bad. It's because you will wait for 2-3 hours to get into a screening, and the higher press members will get you can wait in the rain and not get in. And
Yeah. It's like TIFF. It's a young man's game, is what you're telling me. Which is that like I put up with all of this at 23, and now I can barely even be bothered to go downtown.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if those elements aren't correct, then I wouldn't want to go again. Luckily, I have a pretty good badge, so it's worthwhile.
How many different screens do you watch movies on at that festival?
Probably 4 or 5.
Are they all in the Palais?
A lot of them are. There are a lot of smaller screening rooms in there, but
Right.
basically you'll go. A lot of the press go next door to the WC.
Okay.
And then in the Palais, my favorite screening room there is the Bazin, because it's actually comfortable. But yeah, if you're going to the sidebars like Directors Fortnight, that's at the JW Marriott. The Critics Week are in the Miramar, which is my least favorite theater.
Okay.
And then there's the Acide section. There are a couple other, and then some of those other venues you might learn the hard way. The second or third screenings, if it's not in English, say it's a French film, they might not have subtitles at those screenings. So, some of it is, unless somebody's kind of guiding you, you might learn some things the hard way.
Do they screen everything with French and English subtitles when it's like a Russian movie?
Yes. Yep. Okay. So they have the lower. And then, of course, if you get a bad seat and you need to see those lower subtitles, that can be a pain too.
And have you been to the Carlton Hotel?
Thank you. I was going to ask that question.
I've been in the lobby.
Actually, my first question. I've been pushing it off until now. Okay.
That's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll have to get you up to a room at some point.
Yes.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey's back, so I'm sure he'll find a reason to invite you. Yeah.
I had no idea until somebody told me the day he was getting the award.
Oh, you weren't invited to his luncheon?
No.
For his humanitarian award? Oh, that's a shame.
I think I'm too old.
Yeah, you probably. Well, no. He's not in a position to be too picky, so
That's true. Take what he can get. I actually don't really have time for parties there either. I went to one party, but
yeah. All right, so we have the main awards. These are the awards that Greg and I usually cover when we do our episodes of the show. We are currently preparing for the 1973 Cannes Film Festival, which is a real doozy. But this week, we're going to talk about the brand new awards. We don't have reactions to these films. I've only seen one film from Cannes, and it's Mission Impossible Part 30. So I don't really have much to offer, other than wondering why Tom Cruise needs us to see him in his underwear so much, because it's not as gratifying as he thinks it is. But anyway.
Agreed.
Yeah. And also, I'd like to find who told him to do that hair. But we'll talk about the main awards and get your reactions. Again, give me as much as you want. And I'm curious to know what your reaction to the film, but also your reaction to this prize, because I've been listening to your show long enough to know that you have strong opinions about these things. Yes, Greg?
Shall we start from the bottom to the top?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, great.
When Greg's in the room, we always start from the bottom to the top. This is something Greg and I were talking about. There was a special prize given to Resurrection by Bigan. This is his first time in the official competition. Actually, it's his first feature film, I believe. I think I saw that he had only made shorts before this, or am I...
No, he made Long Day's Journey into Night.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
Oh, Greg and I went to see that in the theater, and we went to a second run theater, and I found out that they weren't playing the 3D section in 3D, and I demanded my money back, and we left.
As you should have. That's how
Thank you, Nick.
To be
Thank you for validating me.
Okay. No.
It was really funny.
No, Bill's not telling the story right. We then went in the same neighborhood. We went somewhere to get dinner, and he was in a foul mood for the rest of the evening.
You know
could
why?
not get over the 3D.
You know why? Because the theater owner asked me why I was asking for my money. Because this is a very small theater. I don't even know if it's still open post-COVID. And he asked me why, and I said, oh, because there's a section in 3D. And like the reason I'm even seeing this movie is because everyone said that it's this innovative use of 3D. And so I'd rather wait to if I can see it that way. And he goes, well, what difference does it make? And I was like, why are you talking to me this way? Like, why are you even asking? That's why I was mad. I wasn't mad. I mean, first of all, I don't understand. Like, if you're going to book a movie, just book the movie the way it's supposed to be screened. Why is there a different version?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also, why are you acting like you've never heard of what I'm talking about and that I'm the crazy person? Why are you running a movie theater?
That was dinner.
Yeah, I believe it. But I would have been upset too, because he doesn't have that person, that operator, theater manager doesn't have a love of the art.
Thank you.
That is cinema.
Thank you, Nicholas Bell, for validating me in Greg's face. All right.
Resurrection.
So Resurrection won the special prize. Last year, The Seed of the Sacred Fig won a special prize. Special prizes outside of grand jury prize and jury prizes have happened before, but is this going to become a regular thing now as an excuse to have one more prize on the slate?
I think it's because there's some divisiveness about it. It's his third feature. It's Kylie Blues is the first. I might be mispronouncing that. I've seen it, but it was years ago. I heard that Binoche, Julia Binoche was the jury president. I heard that she was the big fan of this. So
Okay.
it usually seems in that they did this with Seed of the Sacred Fig. It's like a film that merits some kind of attention, but nobody wants to give it. There's no consensus on what they want to give it. So I think that's what happens.
But they don't want to split the jury prize either. Is that
I think so.
okay? 'Cause it's already split.
Yeah.
So apparently, this is something we researched. Well, I read Gilles Jacob's autobiography, and he said that the jury president will sit in on the festival president will sit in on jury discussions about the awards, and they never get involved in trying to, push people towards movie choice. But they're there to they're basically like when you're on a court jury, which is that they're there to make sure you're following the rules because they want to avoid splits as much as possible. Mm. And when you think about it, there hasn't been a split palm in a very long time.
That might be against the rules now. I feel like I've had somebody said Terry Fremeau, that they don't want that.
Yeah.
Though there was that one year where Spike Lee did a split on the jury and the Grand Prix. Which is doing
right,
too
but
much.
He means that it might be the palm that
it's just the palm you can't.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Because they're always changing the rules all the time, and we're always trying to keep up with them on the show, but none of the research that we do is from like biblical sources. There's no like, it's not like the Academy where there's like official, charters. Anyway.
Primary sources.
Yeah, primary sources. Thank you, Greg, for the academic vernacular.
You're welcome.
It's also good that you two meet because Nick gets as many corrections for his French pronunciation as Greg does, so the two of you can commiserate over how difficult it is to know.
Over knowing you.
So, did you like Resurrection? Did you see it?
I did. I saw 51 films. I covered 30 something.
Yeah.
And every year I write about every single comp film in Berlin, Venice, and Cannes. So
Yeah.
I did, yes.
I've saved your reviews. I just haven't read them yet.
Oh, no, that's fine. I don't expect anybody to possibly want to do that.
I read your reviews. I read them practically every day.
Snaps to you. Oh my gosh. You've really earned your opinion to be that, to have watched that many movies.
Yeah. And that's us saying this.
There's people that do more for sure, but it's a little exhausting. And my husband describes me as like a crazed shithouse rat, so that's
sweet.
probably my energy when I'm there.
And we're Riviera Rats, so you're in good
yes, so
company.
it's perfect.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, Resurrection. It's lengthy. It started at 10 o'clock at night.
Great. Yeah.
The first 40 minutes are magnificent. Truly remarkable, and then it takes place over a century, and it's kind of an homage to 20th century cinema, and it breaks off into different vibes and filmmaking methods. I think the second segment, which is all one shot, which is also like beautiful, but then I think the energy wanes and it dissipates, and I think he was editing till the very last minute because it was listed as 2 hours and 40 minutes in the official program, and the actual screening was 10 minutes less. So I think it was very hot off the press. And I think a tighter, not that I want to tell people how to make their cinema, but I really think a tighter edit would have made this pop.
You're a reviewer. This is one of the criticisms we have of movies is that they could be shorter. Mm-hmm. And you're also seeing them before they will often get cut for distribution. So.
Yes.
Not as much now that Harvey Weinstein isn't doing it, but yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I think Long Day's Journey is a better film, but I think if you're a fan of his, there's a lot there to really like. I assumed that somebody on that jury would like it, so I'm not surprised. It does sound
like something Binoche would like.
Yes, like she would want to later work with him.
Yeah, I say that like she's my friend, but I feel like that's something that she would like. She probably cried too much when she was talking about it, and that's why they didn't give it a prize, because they didn't understand her. All right. Best screenplay went to the Dardenne brothers for the 8 billionth time for a movie sometimes called Young Mothers or The Young Mother's Home. They have won 2 palms. They've already won Best Screenplay for Lorna's Silence. They won Best Director for Young Ahmed. They won the 75th prize for Tori and Lokita. They won the Grand Jury Prize for my favorite of their movies, which is The Kid with a Bike. I like them. I don't always like them, and sometimes I love them. What do you feel about them winning yet again?
I think it was a weak year.
Okay.
There was a lot of stuff that was kind of in the middle that I wasn't enthusiastic about. So I guess that this prize given to this film is something. But, I like the Dardennes enough. This felt like, they picked a disenfranchised group to talk about, and this is what came up. I think because it's 4 different young women. It's about teen mothers, and there's one of their storylines that's kind of exceptionally strong, but then we're kind of drifting in and out of all these storylines, and they just kind of have a hopeful resolution. To me, it wasn't their strongest by far, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's very empathetic and moving, but I think if this had premiered in, say, last year, which I think was a stronger lineup, this would have it would have been paid in dust, I think. But it's not bad by any means.
What's your favorite of theirs?
Kid with a Bike is pretty damn good. Yeah. I like Rosetta a lot.
It's like my least favorite.
Really?
I know it's the movie that gave them to us, because like most people hadn't heard of them before that movie, but
that's true. And what's her name just died. Maybe that's why I feel kind of nostalgic for her. But they have a very strong body of work. I think Young Ahmed, the last 2, Young Ahmed and Tori and Lokita, those felt like they were kind of, there's radicalism and violence going on. This felt like something you would have seen in their first 5 films. I felt like they were pushing. And I think Lorna's Silence is kind of underrated. But
I like that movie too. And I like The Unknown Girl too, even though it's not one of their best. But I like that one.
With Adele?
Yeah. Adele, I know.
The newly, still retired Adele, yeah.
She's retired from film work. Apparently she's doing group theater.
She'll come back.
She's gone granola lesbian. And
yes.
I wish her all the best.
Same.
She said she'll come back when the movie business cleans up its act, so she'll never come back.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
So the film I was most excited about from this competition, and I believe Greg agreed with me on this, is the Kleber Mendonça Filho movie, The Secret Agent, which won him Best Director. It won Wagner, how do you say it? The Best Actor prize. Tell us what you think of these prizes and this film.
I love this film.
Oh, great.
This was
awesome.
Yeah.
Probably my number 2 in the competition. I loved it. It's an ode to 70s kind of spy thrillers. I love how it looks. It's incorporating a lot of 70s genre film like Jaws, that sharks are a motif. There's one of my favorite moments at the festival is it incorporates, there's this clandestine meeting happening with, I think it's Wagner Mora. I might, my pronunciations are iffy sometimes.
Listen, if I don't know,
maybe it's the country, depending on where he is. But they're having this meeting, and The Omen is playing in this theater downstairs, and the score from The Omen is creeping in. I really loved it. I'm
so excited.
He is so strangely dashing. He was my takeaway from Civil War.
Oh yes, yeah. And he's always. I never saw. Is he in Narcos?
Yeah, it's a good show.
And the Elite Squad films.
Yeah.
He's
Brazilian.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was very happy that he got the Best Actor award as well.
Oh, good.
I think it's well deserved. It's mournful.
It's definitely controversial when a film wins more than one, and from what I understand, the rules say it's okay if one of them is an acting prize.
Yes, and I think in the lower tiers, because I think if it's one of the top 3, then they can't. Maybe.
Well, the Palm can also win an acting prize, but that's the only other prize it can win. Yeah, but then there's jury presidents who break those rules all the time. So
the sense I get is this movie winning a directing prize is no surprise given how visual and formalistic it is. How do you feel about that win?
Yeah, it is. I think that prize makes sense if they weren't going to give it a bigger award. But it's very well directed. There's some magical realism going on with a dismembered leg. That's a lot of fun. It's got some queer elements to it. I think that's very fitting that he received that. And because what was his last film?
Pictures of Ghosts.
Pictures of Ghosts was at Cannes in a special screening, but I felt Aquarius was robbed the year. I
still haven't seen that, and Greg and I always talk about the fact that we enjoyed Bacurau, but I feel like everyone loved that more than we did.
That's if he likes Udo Kier, who pops up in a small moment in this one, and Bacurau, I believe, won the jury prize.
It won the jury prize. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. I'm very excited about this film, and now you've made it like we're going to be crying by the time we finally get into a movie theater to see that one. So that's.
Did you hear a sigh when you said you liked it?
Yeah. It also often happens that the directing prize is the one that I disagree with the least. You know, where they pick something that I mean, The Taste of Things was our favorite movie of the year, and so.
Yes, that was a great film with Binoche.
With Binoche. I still wonder if she used a body double for those nude scenes. Her naked butt is never in the same shot as her face.
Oh, yeah. I never thought
They just used a pear.
A peach. And then on the acting prizes, Best Actress, despite Greg's predictions that it would go to, who did you say you thought it was going to be, Renata Reinsva or Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it went to Nadia Maliti for Havzia Herzi's The Little Sister. Oh, okay. Nick made a face, everyone.
It also, so the one party I went to was the Queer Palm party, which I guess,
and it won that as well. Yeah,
it won the Queer Palm. Yeah. And Christophe Honoré was the president of that. And
oh, cool.
I was shocked that won the Queer Palm, but I also read the auto fiction that it's based on.
Okay.
And I felt like that was a lot more poetic than... I like Hafsia Herzi as an actor. This is her third film, I believe. And it felt very cliched. And the lead, while she's very striking, very beautiful, she's fine. But I was expecting... like Jennifer Lawrence, I feel like, is really going in the Lynn Ramsey film. And I was kind of shocked that they weren't going to throw her any... shine, but not that she really even needs it. But
do you think that's why? Do you think they thought it was too obvious a choice?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And it's not like Venice where they will often give an American actor that the Volpe Cup.
Almost always, yeah.
Yes. So maybe that's why. But I was shocked that they chose her. But again, that'll be good. I think it's her first film, great for her career. And she was fine in it. To me, that's the prize I disagree with the most.
Okay. Is it though? Does it also happen often that one of the acting prizes will go to a performance where it's about what the film is about or what the character is about?
Yes.
Rather than, because like thinking of Holy Spider, I don't know that she would have been my takeaway.
No.
And Greg and I talked about Dry Grasses, how like we love that film, but I don't know that she was our takeaway either.
I liked that actor in it, and that felt like a nice touch. But what's her name that won for Little Joe?
Ooh,
Emily Beecham.
Yeah, no, it's a English girl with red hair. I know. Yeah.
And again, going back to 2016, where I'm forgetting her name, the Filipino actress won for Ma Rosa.
Jacqueline Jose, who also just died. Yeah.
Yes, she did. I mean,
and she won over who?
Isabelle Huppert.
Yeah,
but not just Sonia Braga
and Sandra Hüller.
Sandra Hüller. Yeah, Tony Erdmann locked out. Yeah. Like that was crazy. But so yeah, they tend to. Or Diane Kruger winning for In the Fade.
Oh, we talked about that one.
But that, I mean, I like that movie well enough, and I like her well enough. That felt like a Best Actress choice, though, like the way that the role was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that didn't feel like a left field choice. It felt like it was designed for that kind of reception.
And if I recall that year, that lineup, there weren't like any showy actressy roles. Is that the year they gave Nicole Kidman a special award?
Yeah, and that
sounds like it. Yeah, because that was when she was in like 14 films. Yeah.
Bill disagrees with me, but I actually love the cast of The Beguiled. That would have been a flex I would have appreciated.
Like a Volvera award.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. 2016 was the year that most clearly defined for me, and that at that time the Guardian still had a film podcast, so they were like reporting live from the festival every day. And that was the year that clarified for me how vast a chasm there can be between the critical reaction and the jury's choices. Mm-hmm. And as you're supposed to have no contact with each other, and because the Guardian people especially were raving about Tony Erdmann every single day on that podcast, and then it got nothing. And they were raving about Elle, and that, like, it was just interesting to me how things. And I don't remember any of them raving about I, Daniel Blake. So that was interesting
for his second win. A lot of it is the rumor mill, but people talk about 2016 a lot, in this setting and that what that jury did. But I was told that Terry Fremeau told the jury ahead of time that they would not be giving Tony Erdmann any awards.
Why?
Whoa.
I don't know. That somebody told, again, that could be just a rumor, but who knows? It's just like
his ex-wife ate a jizz-soaked cake, and he saw that part and was like, no.
Well,
not twice. This is not happening to me twice.
They tried to make her edit it, Marinade.
Oh, yeah, because they're fussy about long movies, even though they show long movies all the time.
They're all 2.5 hours, really.
Yeah.
So,
but that's a long movie that deserves its length.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And I think Drive My Car, they did that too. That's why that it kind of ends, because it was at the 2-hour 59-minute mark. But
oh wow, okay.
So yeah, there are a lot of bizarre politics that are going on in the background. But again, that's not from the horse's mouth that I heard that. But.
Right. Yeah. All right, so going to the bronze, we got the jury prize split between the very handsome Oliver Lax for Sirat. On your last Fish Jelly podcast, I remember you said that you enjoyed this. And then it was split with The Sound of Falling by Masha Shalinsky, which was an early pick for the Palm. I remember when that premiered, there was a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah, that was the first comp film that we saw. Those are, to me, these two should have had higher awards, because I think they're both besides The Secret Agent, these are the two other best films that, in my opinion, in the lineup. Sirat,
Oh wow.
and on all the critics grids, that was kind of what seemed like should win the Palm. But and that definitely would have been my choice. It is also exceptional, the sound design, and it has some surprises that were shocking to me. And I've seen his past two films. Mimosas I don't love, but Fire Will Come I remember really liking. This is much more mainstream than either of those two are, but it is it's got a lot of subtext going on as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, and like, it's set in rave culture, which is not something I'm interested in at all, but from just the way everyone's talking about it, you can tell it's got like an electricity around it that makes it worth anticipating.
With good sound design, though, rave scenes in movies can be compelling even to the uninitiated.
Sure.
Like I think of that movie Victoria, the one with the one really long shot.
Sebastian Skipper, if I'm saying his name right. Yes. And I don't know, that left me that was the one film that gave me that breathless feeling of like, this is, and that was late at night as well, and that it's invigorating to have that experience. But that should have won top prize, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would have given it to him.
And then,
very cool.
Well, I like his hair, so I would definitely give it to him.
Yes, you do.
Tell us about The Sound of Falling.
Sound of Falling, also excellent. I heard that this was going to be in the Berlin competition this year, and Cannes took it away from them. They scooped it right up, because I think Berlin, they were mourning the loss of that in the Berlin competition. Excellent. It's her second feature. Haven't seen her previous. It's set also kind of like Begone over a century, and it's about kind of generational trauma, a bunch of women, all that live in this one location. It is a film that I would recommend being caffeinated in and before seeing, and it's going back and forth between times and periods, and I felt like I had to spend a lot of time orienting myself about how these women were all related, or some not, and I also think maybe a little tighter edit or through line would have helped. But that being said, it is pretty damn good.
Reminds me of having to go back to the first page of 100 Years of Solitude to remind yourself how everyone is related.
Yes, like I need to go back. Like, wait, like if it was at home, I'd have paused it and be like, wait, who's she again? Okay.
All of the key terms that come up over and over to describe it make me think, well, how is this movie not just going to be women talking? And what sells this movie for you?
Well, the cinematography, the what's her name, Susanna Weist from Goodnight Mommy, I really like, and
I
she's
love
playing
that
a
movie.
kind of another terrible mother in this. There's some violence. It's a lot, women talking is a lot more. It is women talking. This is kind of more like violence against women by other women sometimes.
Right.
So it's meatier to me in that way.
We've talked about. I've talked to you about this before. That I always feel like when I watch stuff from Berlin competitions, it's always the weakest of the three major festivals. Is this why? Is it because Cannes purloins a lot of their great stuff? Often?
Yes, and people wait for Cannes.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the number one festival in the world, so.
Yeah, it's the largest platform, so you can't be mad at that. And I think Berlin, what often happens is they'll get a major director or project that we've heard about for years, and it's because lo and behold, Cannes or Venice passed on it. I'm thinking in the back of my head, Black Tea by he's Mauritanian, Abderrahmane Sissako.
Oh, okay.
Like it was like, oh, Berlin got this title, but it was not good. So I think they get some runoff, and of course, Berlin's also had some identity issues with the changing of the guard.
That's right. Yeah, there was a lot about that. But from what I remember you telling me, it's your favorite of the cities to go to for the major festivals. Yeah.
By far. I mean, it's one of the gayest cities in the world, and it's nice to be able to step out, sometimes far out of the film festival scene. Because sometimes after you watch movies all day, the last thing you want to do is talk to other journalists. Especially if you're still processing and need to write your own things. It's like, I just want to get away from all of you.
It's also a cooler time of year, so you're not as like oppressed by the heat as you are with the other two. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I like, being able to have two different worlds. Because Cannes and Venice, it's only the festival going on. I mean,
right.
Or tourist stuff, which I don't love doing. So
right, of course. Or you would have done by now anyway.
Exactly.
I watched. I took my friend to see Possession a few weeks ago. She'd never seen it, the Isabella Gianni, and I knew that it was shot in Berlin, but like I actually looked up the locations. They're shooting the whole thing in like Kreuzberg. I didn't realize how much it's changed since 1981 because I walked through there when I was in Berlin, and it doesn't look at all like that anymore.
No, you wouldn't know it. But yeah, I mean, Berlin's just a magical place with a very dark history, of course, but I love the ambiance of Berlin for many.
Well, speaking of Northern Europeans, second place, the Grand Jury Prize went to the film with the 32-minute standing ovation. You're not at those screenings, right? You're not at the black tie competition screenings, or maybe you have been.
No, so the evening screenings at the Lumiere, those premieres, you have to wear tux. So I could ostensibly get a ticket and go, but I would not do that. The afternoon screenings, again, because they have all these little side rules. Yeah. Press can go to the Lumiere screenings in the afternoon, and not be dressed up, have a press ticket. So I saw 3 films in the Lumiere this year. So the cast, the directors are there.
Okay.
I loathe having to do that. It's always scheduling that will make me do it because you have to walk up the red carpet. Yeah, which I guess is cool. I could care less at this point. Rouge. Like I'm not dressed for it. So.
Right. Yeah.
And then you have to wait for the filmmakers to get in. Yeah. Getting security is a nightmare getting in there, and they changed the rules. The last screening right before Romeria, I have my backpack with me, or with my laptop because I'm writing wherever I can, and they're like, no backpacks. I'm like, well, no, I've been in here, and they're like, nope, we decided today, no backpacks in the Lumiere.
So did they fire that woman with the ponytail from last year who was making Kelly Rowland rush up the stairs, or was she still there?
I think they like telling people no as well. But I had to go. I had half an hour to go scramble to the train station to pay to have my backpack checked while I go see this movie.
I hate the world premieres at TIFF as well because if the years when I used to do like 30 movies in a week. Those were always a pain because if it was like a world premiere with all the VIPs showing up, it was inevitably going to start half an hour to 45 minutes late because we're waiting for Viggo Mortensen to get out of his Suburban and put out his cigarette. And that means you're running like the Dickens to get to the next theater if you make it at all. Anyway, the reason I ask is because it's become so hilariously overdone that we talk about how long the standing ovations are at
Oh,
these
God.
screenings, that it's like I don't think it means anymore. I don't think it means anything anymore. In Toronto, everyone gives every play they see a standing ovation, so it kind of reminds me of the same thing, where it's just like you guys just look like you're rushing to leave, basically.
Well, and why is that the headline? Why is that noteworthy? They're excited because they want to see the talent or whatever. It's a whole vibe. It doesn't mean anything about the quality of the film.
Well, no, it doesn't. I'm going to stand up because everyone else is standing up, especially if they're blocking my view. And I'm not going to be the one to stop first. So
Right.
that everyone can say, why did you stop first? So everyone's just basically playing a game of chicken. And the
Yes.
longer it lasts, it's basically how long you can last before everyone really needs a drink that badly.
Was it really that long, the applause for this?
19 minutes.
I have heard many different things about this film. I don't think I've ever loved Joachim, how do we say it? Trier film. He has
Sounds
been in
right.
competition many times. He has never won any of the major prizes. Worst Person in the World won Best Actress.
And deserved it.
Yeah, she did deserve it. I liked that film.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. I liked Oslo, the remake of The Fire Within. And Oslo August 31st or whatever
yeah,
it was
yeah.
called. I hated the Isabel movie that he had in competition, Louder Than Bombs. I thought that was terrible.
It is, unfortunately.
And I thought the other one where Juliette Binoche also played the war photographer who is traveling the world was terrible too. But now he wins second place, and I heard a lot of things about it on film comments. Some people liked the sentimentality, some people really didn't. Did it work for you at all?
I think it gets a little too sentimental towards the end, but it's there was an essence of like an Ingmar Bergman film in there with these Scandinavian distressed parent-child relationships, and Stellan Skarsgård's pretty good. We're not as good. Again, I feel like it could have used more of an edit, but it is enjoyable. If you like any of these people, there's a lot there that's worthwhile. I think the rumor was that was going to be the Palm,
Yeah.
that because that's the only thing they'd probably all agree on.
I see, yeah. I feel like the second place often goes to the film, though, that's like beloved but doesn't have an edge. Like Life is Beautiful.
Or a Prophet.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I like that film more than
Yeah.
that, but yeah. I feel like Mia Hansen Love reminds me a lot of Trier, and I like her stuff. I like the way she does it way better. Like they have a similar vibe, and I think she does it better.
I agree. I think Joaquin's a little. I think its early stuff is stronger. I think Louder Than Bombs, if I recall, there was a problem. It was going to go into production, and then funding. He lost funding, and so it had to. And that film kind of bears the marks of the strain.
Yeah.
I think it does. It's not very good, and so I think he's still finding his way, but he works with the same team. What's his name? Eskil Vogt, the
I think
screenwriter.
So. Yeah.
So they clearly, I think that it feels kind of like a very written script, but
I see.
it's enjoyable. But I also talked to people that really didn't like it. But I don't know. Compared to other things I saw, you could do worse this year.
Nick, there's a large contingent of Worst Person in the World fans who are really looking forward to this movie. Bill and I are not amongst them. What should they expect to get more of what they love? Will they be surprised by a turn left?
I think. Well, I like Worst Person better. The opening of the film makes you think that it's going to be along the same lines. I think it has a really it has a fun opening with Renata, but then it becomes very serious and solemn, and then in the third act is a little sentimental. So I think that the irreverence that I think is apparent in Worst Person in the World is not there. So people maybe will be disappointed, but I think if you like him as a filmmaker, it's still a good film.
Okay. Just on Renata, before we get to the big prize, did you see A Different Man from last year?
Yes. Yeah.
I think about her performance in that so much. It went so
She's fabulous.
unheralded.
I think she's
She
fabulous.
is.
Yeah. And whatever I think of Worst Person in the World, anything that brought her to us, this like the more European, tougher, scarier Dakota Johnson that we get from her
Yeah.
was well worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great comparison. I also think of that wig that she has to wear in that movie.
Yeah.
Is she wearing a wig in that movie?
Oh yeah, yeah, because it changes time periods. Greg,
Oh,
you didn't
yeah.
notice? Greg gives a Party City Shake and Go Wig Award every episode that we do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we got some
Yeah.
doozies coming up in 1973. I can tell you that.
So far, the biggest winner has been the cast of Taking Woodstock by Ang Lee.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that movie. Okay, yeah.
yeah, a real dud.
I forgot that was a can. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so did everyone else. It went completely under the radar at the festival. All right, let's wrap up because we don't want to keep Nick here all night, although we would love to. The Palme d'Or went to the great Jafar Panahi for a movie sometimes referred to as a simple accident. Sometimes it was just an accident, un simple accident, is it in French? He previously won the Screenplay Award for Three Faces. He won the Golden Camera way back in the day for The White Balloon. And he won, what did Taxi win? Was it Berlin or Venice?
Berlin.
That's still my favorite.
The Silver Bear.
Yeah.
He also won Venice for The Circle.
Yep, and he won one more Silver Bear for Offside.
Oh, so he's got 3? He's got all
Well,
3?
he doesn't have the Golden Bear, just 2 Silver Bears.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. I was remembering that wrong. All right. So I love Panahi. I don't know that I've ever disliked any of his films. I probably like some more than others, but I do love him. You'll tell me about what you think about this film, but I know that it often happens that the Palme will go to the narrative rather than the film itself, which is that a director has been celebrated for years and has never won before, or in the case of someone like Jacques Audiard, has been in competition a million times and never won before. So we're not... I think of Audiard, I think of Hirokazu Koreeda, like where they're not winning for their best work, but they're winning for being themselves. I think about David Lynch, especially. He definitely didn't win for his best.
Ken Loach.
Yeah, although his first Palme is way, way more deserved than his second one. I think his first one is very well deserved. And I also think of Kiarostami as well. I mean, I don't think Taste of Cherry is up there with his best either. So,
I loved that movie.
I like that film. Yeah, that tied that year too, didn't it?
Yes, with the eel, which I still haven't seen. But tell me about Panahi's film, how you felt about it, and do you think that it is also a case like this?
I think there was maybe a political statement being made,
Sure.
but it's good. But you've seen this film before in some capacity because it's very Polanski's Death and the Maiden, or there was a film at Cannes and Critics Week last year called Ghost Trail about a Syrian refugee that's looking for a specific person to, hunt and kill. So that's the plot mechanism going on. There's a man that recognizes a voice of his torture, kidnaps him, has some doubts, and then goes off on a journey to try to assuage those doubts by having other people try to verify if that's the man. So it's in it, as the title suggests, I think as well, it kind of feels almost like a Farhadi film where one small event happens and then everything kind of snowballs. So it has that element as well. I did like it. I don't know that I think it should have won the the Golden Palm, but yeah, it's fine. And again, they could have picked much worse based on this competition.
Do you feel that it's a choice that is the result of Binoche as president?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think they were making a statement.
Okay.
Well, when I first read this lineup after hearing that she was the president, I thought, oh, that's the one that's going to win. That's Binoche's choice.
Well, she held up his name during her own Cannes speech when she won 15 years ago. She held up a sign with his name because he was under one of his many arrests at the time.
Yeah.
So,
was that for a certified copy?
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's not that shocking. And, I always feel like because the president has more to do with the Palme d'Or, that, the jury prizes are the ones where it's just like, this is what the jury wanted to give the Palme d'Or to, but they don't have the president's interference, so that's what they choose. So,
are there movies that were in the competition that you would have loved to have seen in this winner's circle?
I think Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love. I think she should have been thrown something. I'm trying to. I think the Loznitsa, the two prosecutors, I like that as well. I think
Cool.
Did you
should
sit
have
near
deserved-
him and did he talk the whole time? Because I don't know if you've heard my story. I sat in front of him at TIFF and he talked throughout his whole movie.
Really?
Yeah, he was muttering to his wife the whole time. And I was like, I don't know how to tell this guy to shut up.
Like, sir, I'm trying to
Yeah.
experience your art.
It was during his Stalin's funeral documentary.
Yeah, that was, I saw that at TIFF. That's kind of a little bit of a chore.
We were probably at the
That
same
one.
screening, which is hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are standouts that could have gotten something. I was shocked that I liked the Mario Martone. I don't think you really. I think Valeria Golino gives a really interesting
love her.
performance. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And the author that she's playing, if you don't know who that woman is, you're not going to leave that movie knowing anything at all.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
read
an
up a bit about her, though, when I saw it in the lineup.
I had bought the Art of Joy, the book that she wrote. Sapienza is her last name.
Right.
That is waiting for me to read now. But I think there's some conventional things about that film that don't work. But I thought I left that feeling very more than pleasantly surprised. And I think I was in the minority on that film. And he's not a filmmaker I love a lot, but it would have been nice to see. Oh, my other story about that is somebody told me they were at a party with Binoche this year, and she was, I guess, talking very loudly about this film Fiore with Carlos Regadas, and they were both agreeing on Golino's performance. But
Why are they talking at a party?
That's what I was wondering.
Because this is
Rules.
also something I was going to ask you. Are there rumors of jury opinion that make their way to the press corps? Because they're not
Yes.
supposed to, right? They're supposed to be fully sequestered, and apparently journalists always
Conclave.
try to trick them into giving their opinions, and and the smarter ones are good at like avoiding it. But I wonder, does that stuff trickle down? And in this case, it's apparently Juliet is getting drunk at a party and screaming her opinion for everyone to hear.
yeah, somebody overheard her that was the witness to it that told me.
Yeah.
That was not. He's not a journalist, but so.
But she's going to fuck it up for everybody else. Because when I finally make it onto a Cannes jury, I'm going to be sequestered in a hotel room for 2 weeks because of the Juliette Binoche rule. They're going to ruin the fun for everybody.
And Nick, were there titles in the comp that you would advise Bill and I to wait till they come to streaming?
Got my
well,
pen ready.
Wes Anderson, I think I'm just done with Wes. I really didn't like the Phoenician scheme, but I guess arguably it's better than Asteroid City, which
Which is everything, but yeah.
yes.
Well, that one I'm going to see in the theater because it's going to play down the street from my house, so it's kind of like...
And it comes out next week, I think, or something.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy that. I'm just tired. None of the comedy landed in that for me. But again, maybe I don't know. But the biggest shock, and also one of the worst, maybe the worst thing I saw was Alpha.
Oh, Ducournau.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, neither Greg or I are big on Titan, so...
I liked Titan enough, but this, oh my God, it's bad. It's taxing and loud and well-intentioned because it's kind of an AIDS allegory a bit, but just absolutely nothing about it worked. Tahar Rahim lost
So hot,
a ton of, but he lost a ton of weight because he's playing a drug addict. But it's like, God, you did that to your body for this film. Ugh.
And then you go see more than just official competition. You see things from every stream at the Cannes Film Festival. Are there other movies you were excited about?
The Christian Petzolds,
Okay.
which was in the
Cool.
Fortnite. And if you like him, that's definitely worth seeking out. It plays...
I always like him.
Yeah, same. But he's kind of doing similar... It reminded me a lot of Yella. It has some similar elements going on there, but worth seeing. The Nadav Lapids, yes.
Yeah, I was just listening to Film Comment talk about that today, and they were really enjoying it. They really enjoyed it, too. I like him a lot. I didn't love
do,
Ahed's Knee, but I like him a lot.
I do, too.
Yeah.
It felt very daring.
Yeah.
And that was the reason it wasn't in competition, because it's not like Venice where they'll put Woody Allen and Polanski in the lineup. That they don't want Scandal, so I think that's why Yes was not in the competition.
But they get the most hate for Scandal, which is also why.
Yes, that's true. It's like when Bonello's Nocturama, I think, also went. They didn't want anything to do with it that year.
But I think that was in competition, though.
No,
Oh,
no. I think it
I thought
premiered
that was why I watched it.
San Sebastian
Oh,
and
it's not
TIFF,
that
and I
great
saw
though.
it TIFF. No, well, it's interesting, but
It's
that was
and
the
it's not
year
that
of all the
provocative either. I mean,
no looking back,
yeah.
but they were scared. And I want to say the Sarah Brennikov film because I'm for over a year. It's like that's going to be in Cannes. It's going to be in Cannes, and then they put it in the premiere section.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I think they didn't want to deal with also watching a movie about Joseph Mengele,
Right.
right now. So that film, I will say, was very beautiful shot.
Yeah.
It's beautifully shot. But
I think I've only seen Leto of all his films. I think that's the only one I've seen.
I didn't love that.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But
I took a while to warm up to it, but I enjoyed it.
yeah, it's fine enough. But he's a little hit or miss for me. But
A superficial question: any celebrity or filmmaker sightings that struck you as odd or excited you?
Yeah.
Anybody who is taller than you would have imagined or shorter than you would have imagined?
Or anyone you saw get drunk, or any story you heard about something crazy at the Carlton Hotel.
Anything you want to attest about the fabric people were wearing that we just don't appreciate from our computer screens?
No, nothing about that because I feel like it's just a blur getting around. But the one party, the Queer Palm party I was at, I was hanging out with Andrea Polaro, which was nice. I kept seeing, I'm going to say his name, butchered, but Nawel Perez Biscayat.
Yeah.
Yes, he was on a jury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe in certain regard. So I saw him in several screenings, and then I kept seeing him on Rue d'Antibes, like walking around. I'm trying to think who else. And then Christophe Honoré I was right next to him at one point because at the party, and Lucas Don't, who was he popped up at that party as well. But yeah, that was about it. It's, I believe.
Do you have familiars? Do you have people that you see regularly when you go?
Yeah, there used to be the journalists I used to room with for years.
Okay.
I still see them and hang out with them, and I'm friends with the guys that write at Mubi, so I got to go to a Mubi dinner and things like that. Yeah, you see a lot of the same people that do the same circuit.
Yeah,
and
nice.
do a lot more than I do. But
well, you do a lot.
That's cool.
Well, Nick, you've done a lot for us today. This has been really, really exciting to have it all from the horse's mouth. Yeah, make us even more excited about catching up with all these films throughout the rest of the year before we do our 2025 episode, which will be a while from now.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it, though. But thank you for having me. Let me ramble about
no rambling at all.
Thoughts.
I've been keeping it brief because I could literally listen to you talk about this stuff for hours.
We could have just gone through every title and said, like, what did you think? What did you think?
We really, really would have loved to. But it was a thrill also to catch up with you. And again, thank you for making time for us. Tell our listeners all about all the stuff that they can find of yours online.
For written reviews at Cannes, it's at ioncinema.com. I also write for Spin Magazine, and I have a YouTube channel that I'm a co-host of with my husband, Fish Jelly Film Reviews. A lot of talking that if you want to experience that, it's there.
Mm-hmm. And your podcast as well.
Oh, and the podcast,
which is
yes.
Some film reviews, mostly Joseph complaining about restaurants and how people behave in public.
Yes, I think it's categorized as like a lifestyle podcast. Which,
okay.
I don't know that that's the intent, but sure.
I mean, I'm not casting aspersions. I agree with him most of the time, so I enjoy it. And
he entertains me, so you know.
Thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to Riviera Rats.
Our podcast is hosted and produced by Bil Antoniou and Gregory Rosebrugh.
Our music is by Joe Organ.
Our artwork is by Leo Kouvaris.
Follow us on Instagram at Riviera Rats.
Write to us at ratsriviera@gmail.com.
If you want to support our show, tell your friends about us.
Leave us a rating and a review on whatever podcast app you use.